Welcome back to the build. We are just finishing drywall right now, and I wanted to give you a preview of what is about to happen with this mad sprint. Grace and I don't normally have deadlines since we don't have normal jobs really, so we like to self-impose deadlines. So I'm gonna commit to put my family into this house by Christmas. And so everything that's about to happen, I just wanted to give you a clue about all this stuff because we're very excited about each one of these things. First off, the lighting that's gonna be installed as soon as we have this place painted is incredible. This is Kichler lighting, and here's an example of one of the amazing things that's going to be hanging in this house. So this goes over the island that's going to be right behind me in this room. This is the kitchen that's right behind me here. And these things are, I mean, you could just tell, once the plastic comes off and the LED strips light up, we have also amazing things going on in the studio space. And so we weren't expecting to be able to design the lighting in the house so incredibly well, but Kichler has really helped us out with that, so we're very excited about this. We also are going to be hanging ourselves. There's one of the ways that we cost saved with our electrician, the fans. And this is an example of one of the giant, this is a 7-foot diameter fan from Fanimation. And these are very important for our circulation in the house because, as you know, even though we have a ventilation system, the ventilation system, even combined, only runs about 300 CFM for 45,000 cubic feet of air. That's not a lot. The heating and cooling system, the heat pump, is only going to run 800 CFM. Again, 45,000 cubic feet and only 800 cubic feet per minute being moved around. So we need the fans to be on low all the time to keep the air inside the house circulating and moving around so that we don't have what's called temperature stratification. Sorry about the noise. People are traveling again, it sounds like. So these things, we're very excited about both the look and also the functionality of them because of course it's really important to have good lighting and good airflow around the house. Another element that's coming soon is the railings around the house. We have 2 balconies upstairs and we've got a big rear deck and also the stairway inside. All of that is Rail FX. This is a aircraft cable system that's aluminum, stainless steel. It's not gonna be rotting outside and not gonna have to have any maintenance on it. I don't even have to clean it like glass panels would. So that is coming soon. I'm going to show you all about how the performance of those and the strength of them. We're very impressed with that whole process. So those look beautiful as well, and you can see a lot. They make everything much more transparent and open seeming. And then as far as the kitchen goes, again, behind me, we've got all Miele appliances, and these are appliances that are manufactured. They're designed and manufactured in Germany, and then they ship them across the ocean to get to the US because they're able to do a lot more quality control over there. Grace and I got married in our early 20s when we were pretty poor, and so we didn't have a lot of nice stuff. We found like our couches in alleys, for example, but we did not skimp on our vacuum cleaner. We have always had this Miele pull unit vacuum cleaner, and it's stuck with us for like almost 20 years now. It's what is keeping our tiny lab clean. And until we move into the central vacuum system that we've got here in the big house, that thing has served us really well. So we're very excited again to continue with the Miele thing. Are we okay?
Yeah.
Sound? This is when we have to shoot this. What happens with kids when you're building your own house? So speaking of water, we also have going into the kitchen here the serious water purification system. We've got obviously the whole house water softener and charcoal filter system. That's going to make sure everything is nice and clean. But we have an RO system, reverse osmosis, going into the kitchen right over here. You're what?
I was feeling water on my back.
Do you want to come in here? You can stand right here.
Yeah.
And then outside of the kitchen, where we have some tile, we also have tile obviously in all the bathrooms, and the tile system is going to be an interesting scientific story because, as you may know, water is my nightmare. Water and air is like a teenager. You don't want to stop it from doing what it wants to do, but water, like liquid water coming inside the house, is a horrible thing. That's why we spent so much money on the very nice metal roof that's 22 gauge, 24 gauge, something like that. It's very hardcore. No, none of this rain is getting in, but leaks inside the house, or for example, people walking around dripping water on the floor, or kids splashing in the bathtub, gives me horrible feelings. And so we have a very serious waterproofing system from RedGuard. The company's name is Custom Building Products, And they make all kinds of things that are tile installation systems. That's the stuff that you don't see. So the tile can look really nice, but it could have voids underneath it. It could be soaking up a bunch of water, for example, in the floor of your shower. That mortar is constantly wet, and the cement board that's behind all the tile is also wet all the time because it rains more in your shower than it does in the rainforest. So what you want to do is control for all that. We're going to be showing you lots of stuff about how to make sure that your showers are going to last a long time. The tile's not going to crack, it's not going to start rotting, the structure of your house, all that stuff is very important to us. Now in our studio space, which is our dance and music studio, we're going to do the same Ignite cladding from Thermarie that we did on the front door wall here on the inside. So you can see where it'll go on the outside of this little room, and also on the inside face there. It's everywhere that the drywall is missing. We're pretty excited about that. It's going to be kind of an accent wall. So as far as the engine goes, especially in the undercarriage of the house, this conditioned crawl space we've got, we have some really exciting things going on. In a week and a half, HVAC schools Brian Orr and Caleb Salibi are going to come here from Florida and North Carolina, and they're going to help set up and commission our heat pump systems from Mitsubishi, our HEPA and ERV systems from Fantech, and our dehumidification system from Ultra Air in Santa Fe. Once we get all this painted and we don't have to worry about bits of paint floating into the HVAC systems and making everything a little bit dirtier than it already would be in a normal house, we're going to go ahead and kick those on, and we'll have automatic dehumidification. I will not have to keep emptying a bucket of the dehumidifier that's sitting upstairs, and that's going to be very cool. So we've got all of those machines are going to start doing their jobs very soon, because the house is already so airtight. And when we have those machines running, a big part of that is going to be the control systems for it. So obviously we have things like thermostats that normal people have, but we'll have some other things that are very important too, because people are constantly asking us also, what monitors do you recommend for people to know what's in their air? Well, first of all, you have a pretty good one on your face. But aside from that, what my big problem with a lot of the monitors and sensors out there, they don't do anything aside from tell you what's going on in your house. They don't take action. We have some things that are going to take action. So the first thing is Fantech just came out with some sensors that integrate with their ERVs and HRVs. These are the ventilation machines that bring outdoor air into your house to take stale air out, that actually sense VOCs. Now, the way that we've set up our HVAC system is that all the air is returned from the entire house into this room. So we have one nose that's going to go in this room, and it's going to monitor the smelliness, the staleness, basically. And you can do this with a number of different things. Some people say, oh, you should monitor carbon dioxide, which is something that people breathe out. This happens to monitor VOCs, which is things that you can smell. You could do a bunch of different things. Honestly, it doesn't really matter. What really is important is that this box doesn't tell you anything. It can. You can find out if you want to. But it's not talking to you. It's talking to the ventilation equipment. And it's telling it to ramp up or ramp down based on what it is sensing. So you don't have to pay attention to that stuff. Very important. Another solution is something that you can use on ducted HVAC systems, which we have one of. And this is going to do a number of different things. So this is called a Haven from Tizoa. And it's meant to be inserted into the ductwork, and it will live there forever. It's got a little antenna, as you can see here. That'll broadcast information via Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, and it's got sensors on it. You can see these holes that are in it. It's going to be monitoring the airflow, which is pretty cool. Not a lot of sensors out there. No equipment is going to be monitoring the airflow. You have to use what's called a fan curve that's in the installation guide. Trust me, no homeowner is ever going to have that installation guide left in their house. That gets thrown away immediately. Partly because probably we don't want to know what the airflow is once we install the equipment. This thing is going to tell you what the flow of air through your equipment is. It'll also tell you what the pressure inside your duct system is, which is cool, not just because you can diagnose whether the system was installed correctly, but it can also tell you when it's time to change your filter, because the filter gets dirty and it jacks the pressure up. It's pretty cool. It also is going to monitor temperature and humidity in the return airstream, and it can then communicate with your dehumidification system if you want it to, and tell it to kick on and do things like that. So because this is in the return, it's taking the temperature and the VOCs and the vitals of all of the air from the house as it returns to the heat pump. It's also going to monitor particulate and VOCs. So as mentioned with the Fantech sensor, those are good indicators for how stale the air is and how you want to have the ventilation equipment react to this information. So the control systems nowadays are getting to the point where we're really reaching that second level, because one of the problems with making a house more airtight, which is a good thing, is that now the homeowner has to take more responsibility for tuning everything on an ongoing basis. What we have here is an auto-tune mechanism that'll keep on retuning the house as you do things like open and close doors, as your kids come home and stay in the house for a week or a month over the summer. All that stuff is going to be changing the equation, and so this equipment is going to be helpful with that. The last bit of machinery in the crawl space that we're very excited about is the water heaters. We have 5 Chronomite point-of-use water heaters. That means that I only had to run one plumbing line, just the cold water, to each of the zones. We've got kitchen, we got 4 bathrooms. So 5 zones, 5 water heaters, each one gets it. This is the smallest water heater of the lot. And you can see it's pretty shrimpy. This is actually going to go inside of the cabinet under the sink in the powder room. The others are increasing size, and you'll see the power disconnects for these things are significant, because the biggest one that we have takes 120 amps of power. That's if you had the laundry running at the same time as you were trying to fill the tub and take a shower and wash your hands. And flushing the toilet with hot water, because that's how we roll. No, I'm just kidding. So we are doing some things that are a little bit fancy, a little bit different, but in general, what we're going to try and show you in this next couple months is an experiment in what is possible for houses, right? Because a lot of people think that, oh, it's just, we do it this way because that's just the way that it's done. That is not the case. And we hope in some future season, distant from now, of home diagnosis on PBS, that we're going to be able to travel the world and show you how people control all of these things in other places in the world, because they do it very differently than we do it. We had to make some decisions, like, for example, the drywall behind me, that are just based on the fact that it's what is available. And it is what is mass produced, and it's how the professionals in your area work. They are not familiar with some new fangled thing, and so we just stuck with regular old drywall, regular old paint, because those are kind of the plug and play options. And you will have to make some of those decisions based on where you are, even in the US, because not everything is available. But a lot more products and a lot more systems and a lot more innovation is going into the construction industry over the next couple of years. And so hopefully we'll be able to do a lot more of this kind of thing in a typical home, even down to the level of like an affordable house that a Habitat for Humanity would build. I want to make sure that everybody's clear that all the products that we've incorporated into this house, we selected, we sought out, we were gonna work with them anyway. Some of them worked with us as product partners, and so we have some discounts and things like that with them, but we didn't pick anything that was just something that was available because it was at a discount. So I believe in all of this stuff. It is not a commercial for these things. They have not paid us to say any of the things that we're going to say. We're an independent educational resource for you. And so all of that is why we have our Patreon page. If you want to help support our work to make sure that we're able to continue doing this kind of thing and giving you the information on how all of this stuff actually interacts, not just with your contractor or with how the house looks, but actually what the house does, then that's why we have that site, because doing all this stuff is really expensive, and Grace and I don't have normal jobs. This is what we do. So I'll talk to you again very soon about a lot of this stuff. Tune in next time.